Blue, navy blue, navy blue, navy blue.
Keith, you're not in the horizontal. Check that out. He said he is out. You are out on the horizontal. There we go. N- Good. Really good.
Doing good. How are you? Johnny, you on mute, Johnny. You on mute.
John's on mute. Mhm.
There we go. Goodness, we all forgot to fly the son of a bitch this morning, man.
We can't hear you, Keith. We're on our way.
I can
We're on
hear
our
Keith.
way. So you can hear Keith? I can't hear Keith. John, can you hear Keith?
I can hear Keith.
I can
It
hear
was
Keith. Keith, you got an echo.
In the meantime, Johnny,
I can
what you
hear
got?
everyone. I can hear everyone. This is live radio right here. That's it.
Right
As we get
here.
this shit, worked out, you guys are all privy to see it. There we go. Here's the thing I want to know, Christina. Why is it that he said that I'm the one that taught you to cuss? Shit.
You
I
know
was
what?
watching
Because
I was watching
I'm
my mouth
I'm not
before you
sure.
shut up, and you started dropping F bombs, and I thought, well, hell, if she's gonna do it, I should do it too.
Here's the thing. Keith spoke to me on the phone. He talks about the story a lot. We met for the first time. It was supposed to be 30 minutes. It ended up being like an hour and a half. So you know what I sounded like in that conversation. If he didn't want me to cuss on the show, number one, he should have told me. Number two, I would have said, I'm not coming on the show then because I can't do that. So I'm not sure why he's putting it on you, Johnny, but
I
listen.
think it's probably just better to blame it on a male than a female. That's my guess.
Yeah, I guess so. You know what? It's typically the other way around, so I'll take it this time.
Marty, was it a non-cussing show where it was just you and Keith?
I was
Yeah.
I me and Keith were cussing for sure.
Oh well, shit. Then what
But I
in the
Why
thought
does
he
he
world?
make
hired
it seem like we did it?
I thought he hired Flynn to make it a little more mellow and professional. And then I saw Flynn cussing, so I said, okay, I'm back to cussing. You know,
Not today, friends.
yeah,
Not
it is what it is.
today. Oh my God.
Oh, I
What's
love it.
Mosquitoes
going on with the
everywhere. I'm loving this.
What's going on with the camera?
It looks like we're getting all sorts of situated here. This is the first, everyone,
Jimmy,
for
what you
The
all.
doing,
first.
man?
You know what?
I think we got Jimmy must be on. He must be a little sideways, and they're both trying to work it out because I've never seen this before.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Listen,
But
if
this is the
y'all
loop.
are tuning in, just I'll say what Keith would say. We are building the plane as we fly it. And sometimes when you're building the plane as you fly it, shit happens.
Stuff
And
happens.
especially, you know, Keith's setup. Keith has like X number of different cameras. He said that he repurposed some old iPhones to be able to use them as screens yesterday. So he's been doing a lot of different work. There you are. You back?
Well, this is perfect. Real quick, I just need to summarize. But for all of you out there that are worried about, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that because I might not be ready to do it, you just watched us go through something that was a challenge. And yes, it happened. Yes, we're okay with it. And yes, we're still moving forward. So if you're worried about a mistake, don't worry about perfection, worry about progress because that is exactly what you just saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I can't hear Keith. Can y'all hear Keith?
I can hear Keith,
I can hear Keith.
and he's
Okay.
still not, Keith, you're still not on the horizontal stream.
He's. Mm. Yeah, I can hear you.
Let me check.
Not on the horizontal.
Not on the horizontal. It's just me and Marty on the horizontal from what I can see.
Go, there we go. I'm on the horizontal stream now.
There you go.
And let's get that sorted out here. I don't know what's actually different this morning. I haven't done anything different other than just getting us rock. Okay, let's go. Let's rock and roll here. The morning loop, the unpredictable first 15 minutes of the show where you don't know what the hell's going to happen. And I appreciate the team stepping in here and getting my back here. Johnny, you're right, man. You know, people just don't want to get started, and then you get started and shit happens. But we're here. Tina, we're here. Marty, we're here. We're all here. Everything's good to go. Listen, the morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We're rocking and rolling here. We got everything. So I actually don't know what happened this morning. I don't know why it all went sideways. To go. But hey, I got a video from Kristina yesterday. We're going to keep things rolling here. I got a video from Kristina yesterday, which moved me. Johnny, it's going to move you. Marty, it's going to move you. Tina, it moved me yesterday. Thanks for sharing it with me. Went out for a lovely dinner with my wife last night. Oh my God, we had a lovely dinner last night. And no, we did not play the Game of the Throne last night, Johnny. But we had a lovely dinner.
Why did I know you were about to say that? Why did I know you were about to say that?
Marty, you know me too well, Marty. Just stop, Marty. Get out of my life, Marty. And I got this awesome video. So I'm gonna put the video up here. I'm gonna put it on the screen here for you guys to show it because I think it's gonna set the tone for today's discussion. But most importantly, it's going to set the tone for what we've been talking about the last couple of days. And it is an awesome video that I'm excited to show here. Jimmy, I got it coming up on the horizontal. I got to come up with the vertical here. So let's do that. Let's get to let's run this and we'll get the conversation rolling here. All right, let's do it. Boom. No, that's not it. Oh my God, are we having some challenges today? Jesus. There it is right there. Boom.
The morning loop is supposed to be unpredictable, and even we didn't know what was going to happen today.
Like, I'm able to get a new phone because of you. I'm able to go get my eyes tested and get new glasses tomorrow because of you. I'm able to have somebody come in here and clean because of you. I'm able to make a meal for not just our family, but Crystal and Brett because of you. Like, you're not just keeping us afloat, you're driving us. And I appreciate you so much. Like, the way you lavish your love on us is insane. Like, you take such good care of us. You are such an incredible provider. And I don't just mean financially. Like, you're an incredible provider for our family. Like, I had expectations of what you were going to be like, and you have far surpassed them. Like, I am overwhelmed with what a great provider you are for our family. I am so blessed, and I'm so grateful that you're my husband. I just want you to know that. Okay?
Thanks.
I just love you so much.
Words can heal. Now, I show that, and I saw a comment. What's up, Professor Mex? If only more women can see that. I don't agree with you. If only more men and women can see that. This is not a one-sided conversation. This is about respect, mutual respect, meeting expectations and loving others. If you appreciate your wife, your partner, your lover, your significant other, show them that. Whether it's your husband or your partner, show it to them. And Kristina, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day yesterday. I know we worked together and we're colleagues, but as a human being, you took that, it moved you, you shared it with me, and I was excited to share it with Jon and Marty this morning again, because man, you just stopped for a minute and that young lady sat there and listen, it's hard not to judge the environment. It wasn't the cleanest environment, but it didn't matter.
But that's real life.
Exactly.
That's real life.
Exactly.
If it was perfect, I wouldn't be looking at that clip the same way because that's not real life. Like,
exactly.
That was such a moment in time where she's like, yo, yes. I feel you right now. And I feel like you're not in a great space. And I need you to know that I got you and I appreciate you.
I loved that, Kristina. I thought the same thing, right? I'm like, that's real life. The house was a mess. She's sitting there because she was probably stressed out. He looked like he was stressed out. And she just used some words and she walked over to them and she gave him a hug. And man, the simplicity of that. Jon Andersen, when you saw it, what did you think?
the power of that. Let me use my, like, literally today,
Yeah.
I've been struggling to get myself on the right side of my brain, the grateful side of my brain. I've did everything that I normally do. It's just for some reason today's a bigger challenge.
Yeah.
Don't know why. That video literally, even though it didn't happen to me, just watching that gratitude finish the job for me. Now I'm where I need to be. So it's not just, how we, gratitude all around us is a powerful thing. Even if we're not practicing it ourselves, someone can see that video and experience how powerful it is.
Yes. Yeah. Marty, what did you think of that when you saw that, brother?
That was great video. And I agree. You can look at it both ways. You can look at it how you're looking at it, Keith, or how Professor Mex was looking at it, because, I feel like a great wife, great husbands, they both can get neglected, right?
Yes.
They both can be unappreciated. So I don't see what's wrong with saying, hey, let's appreciate the husbands more, because if a mom or a wife isn't getting that appreciation, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, we need to appreciate her more. So it is a both side thing. So I think both of y'all are right in acknowledging, the he's acknowledging the men's side, you're acknowledging both. But no, that's great to see, man. And I think with I know y'all are married, but just me, like, dating, I think the dating culture is it's a mess now. And I feel like both sides don't appreciate each other and don't really I guess have the right expectations or realistic expectations for one another. So that's amazing to see.
Man, that's a whole show right there, talking about the current state of the dating world. Holy Toledo!
I could talk. I could
You
do a
got to
whole
teach
show.
us, Marty.
I could lead the whole show. Lead the whole show.
I think we might need to do that. But I want to come back to Johnny here for a moment. So, Kristina, again, you shared that video. You didn't know the impact it was going to have, but that video has changed somebody's life today. Our colleague Jon Andersen's, right? Because he's like, man, I'm having some struggles getting together today. And I say this time and time again. I learned from Johnny. I have my own anxieties and sometimes battle. And John's like, yeah, I just wasn't getting it together today. Well, Jon, let me offer this to you, brother. So I wrote this note and I talked to my wife about this yesterday, but I think it kind of relates to this, right? This show, I've discovered, is my purpose. It's been really freeing for me. I feel like I'm on this like Oprah mission and, crack the humor, but my purpose, I wake up right now, is to be better. It's what I'm selling, nation. It's what I'm selling to all of you. I'm selling accountability, possibility, change, belief. If I can't be better for me, if Jon Andersen can't be better for himself, or Christopher Martin can't be better for himself, for you, for us, then I'm not living my purpose. What the hell am I doing here? I'm trying to be better every single day. I said this to my wife last night. My goal is to make all of her friends' husbands jealous, Johnny. Jealous, going, oh man,
yeah,
your husband is so committed to your relationship. Your husband is so committed to your partnership. Your husband is so committed to being a better man for himself. And I know, guys, it sounds so goofy and ridiculous, but I'm telling you, I'm on that mission right now. I'm so focused on trying to be better as a human and better for my partner, but also managing the expectations of others and myself throughout the way. So, the video could not have come at a better time. I got to tell you that. So, Kristina, thanks for sharing that this morning. But listen, before we dive further into the show here this morning, we got center stage coming up with Tameka and accountability check-in for a second. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share the episode with a friend. Let us know what's on your mind in the comments. We're all about accountability and helping you achieve that biggest thing. Here's the thing. We all deal with expectations around here, whether it's what society says. Marty was talking about dating, what we should be doing as men, what our families want, or what we think success should look like. But at what point do we ask ourselves, nation, what's the cost of living up to those expectations? To your wife's expectations, your partners, your colleagues. How much of ourselves are we going to give away? Today, we're going to challenge that. Expectations. Yeah, fuck expectations. Let's talk about owning your journey. Talk about owning your journey instead of paying the price for someone else. Do you wake up out of bed for someone else? Are you hitting the snooze button for someone else? Don't, right? Think about what you're doing for yourself. Jon, before we keep the conversation going, when you hear about this idea of fuck expectations and getting out of bed for your own journey instead of somebody else's, what do you say to that, Jon Andersen?
I say that, I think in general, we've been kind of duped that, we need to do this for so-and-so and do this for, you got to do this for you. It's like we somehow have been duped that, doing for ourselves first is selfish. No, we got to pour into our own cups first. because then what comes when our personal cup is full, we're better to our kids, we're better to our wives. And so I think the idea of the expectations, it's a slippery slope, because really what it comes down to it, if you have expectations for yourself and you focus on taking care of yourself, those expectations will be met, which will then supersede the expectations around you. So I think it's all about where people are choosing to focus, or for that matter, not focus.
That's right. And right now, it's time for the accountability check-in, because everybody wants something from you. True. Oh, yeah. That person over there wants something from you. That person over your kids want something from you. Your wife, your husband, your partner, everybody wants something from you. Those expectations, nation, they can feel like pressure. And the more you try to meet them, oh, man, the more it costs you. Yeah. But here is the truth. Doing what they want often costs you more. That is, I see that we got Jimmy. We're missing on the production here this morning, brother. Doing what they want often costs you more than it's worth, because you can't live your life trying to meet everyone else's expectations. No, you end up drained. You lose focus on what actually matters to you. You forget your own goals. Because sometimes being selfish is exactly what you need. You know, we talk about get up in the morning, take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first. Yes, I said it. As Johnny says, put the airplane mask on first. It's not about shutting people out. No, it's about putting your needs first so that you can show up better in every area of life. Don't let others set the price for your happiness. Don't do it. If you do, you're doing what they want instead of what you want. So listen, ask yourself this. Have you made a selfish decision that changed everything for the better? If not, maybe today's the day to start. It's your accountability check-in every day. Every day, 8:16 Eastern time. Something to get you out of bed, but something in your brain to go, yeah, I got to think about that today to move you forward. All right. We're going to bring back the crew here. We're going to bring back our guest here in a second, Tameka, who's joining us. There she is. There is Tameka. There's Johnny. Let's see here. We got Tameka. We got Marty. What's shaking, Tameka? How are you, Tameka, today?
What's up, Tameka? Can you hear us?
Tameka off the stage. That's okay. We're going to bring her back here in a quick second. We're figuring out the airplane as we fly today. I love this, man. So what I love about this, again, Marty, I repeat myself here, is if you don't try, you don't know. And sometimes you got to try. You got to move the needle. It's like that first day you're getting into the gym going, I'm going to try this new exercise out, and it sucked. You're like, oh my God, that exercise didn't work out very well. But you're like, yeah, but Bilous, if you didn't get in here, you don't know.
Well, it helps when you realize everyone sucked at one point, you know.
Isn't that the truth, right? Isn't that the truth, right? So, all right.
Jon Andersen.
Even Marty, did Johnny Anderson suck once? Johnny, what was those first couple weeks?
He was the chubby little son of a bitch. That's what he says.
That's right.
That's right. Like, and the thing about it, you got to remember this, is that when we do something for the first time, we're all going to suck. And then the second time you'll suck a little bit less. Third time you'll suck a little bit less. And when you understand this, it's not so daunting to try something for the first time when you've already accepted you're going to suck.
Yeah. Tameka, we got you there. How are you today? Let's get some applause going for Tameka. There's Tameka.
Hi.
Tameka has been making waves as an influencer, but her story goes way deeper than just social media. She's decided she's not just, we shined the light on her a couple weeks ago in the creator spotlight. Tameka's faced tons of challenges and negativity along the way, but she's turned that into a message of positivity and resilience. And Tameka, excited to have you here on the show. You're hanging out for center stage. You're filling the gap for deep dive later today. Let's jump right into our conversation. Tameka, where are you joining us from this morning? And we're glad to have you here in the lab. I got to get you some more applause. It's shaking. Where are you joining us from today?
I am a Brooklyn, New York native, but I live in New Jersey currently. So I'm about 30 minutes outside of Philly.
Awesome. So before we get into it, have we met before? So Kristina's like, yeah, you work at the Time Building. I spent some time at the Time Building in New York City years ago. Have we met?
I don't think so, which is funny because we are very familiar with Keith's over at Time.
Oh,
but yeah, I don't think I've met your particular Keith quite yet.
gotcha. Well, even when I saw your name, I'm thinking I met a Tameka at Time Magazine, because my experience at Time was I went to New York City Time Magazine. Marty and John, I went to whatever floor it was. I felt like I was in a library. It was the quietest, most boringest place, Tameka. That was my experience back when it was still the same thing.
Sounds accurate. Sounds accurate to me. So yeah, you are absolutely right. The Bryant Park office.
Yes.
Yeah, when you walk in, you could hear a pin drop.
So Tameka, let's just jump right into it. We're talking about this idea of letting go expectations and expectations, but you've dealt with a lot of hate and negativity in your career, but you've always found a way to flip it. Johnny said to us a couple of days ago, Keith, we got to stop using the word excuse in the terms of a negative and flip the idea of an excuse to make it into a positive. The opposite of an excuse is an opportunity.
Yeah.
How did you get started with this mindset of saying, you know what, to hell with all of you. I love being an influencer. I'm going to be an influencer, put my hand up and just, how do you shut the negativity out, Tameka? How do you shut those outside expectations out of your world? How do you deal with the negativity from people in your personal life, family, friends, everyone who don't see the value in Tameka's approach?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And honestly, I could take it back to realistically before I even made it on this planet. I'm first gen. My family immigrated here from Haiti. So I'm also an eldest daughter. Like a lot of who I am as a person has always been going against the grain, right? Going against expectations of me, really having to chart my own path because there's really nobody else who is able to help me or help outline that path on my behalf. And really starting out in that way helps you understand, one, nobody's coming to save you. It doesn't matter how much oppression, how much negative feedback, how much you experience as a person, like, for lack of a better term, like you really need to have a not give a fuck mindset in order for you to be happy on this planet. And when I realized that at a very early age, that's when I really started doing things that I felt like aligned with me and what I wanted out of life versus trying to make people who will never come and save me if I need it happy.
Yeah.
And that has always been a really big part of how I approach everything from my career to my content to my everyday life. Like once you start to deplete or take away from my life, like you could go, because the direction I'm going in is really not made for two anyway. So
Oh, I like that. Johnny, I can see you nodding because you've made a comment here in the past. You're like, I'm ready to go. Get the hell out of my way. And I'm getting the same impression that Tameka's has that same attitude. John, when you hear Tameka talking, what are you leaning into and hearing?
Yeah, no, this is what most people need. Most people, unfortunately, spend their lives kind of living on this path of trying not to. I mean, I guess put it bluntly, people are so afraid of what other people are going to say or think about them. That is a huge controller of their path of life, and that's a guaranteed way for you to make sure that you are unhappy and unfulfilled. So when you realize very quickly, hey, this is who I am, and if you like me, there's a seat here right next to me, and we can rock. And if you don't, that's fine. Just dislike me over there.
Yes. Marty, question for you. You're going to throw the same question to Tameka. Not to throw shade, Marty, but some people argue that always focusing on positivity, always focusing on positivity can actually minimize the real issues that we face around us. What do you say, Marty, to those critics? And Tameka, what do you say to those critics who feel like you're overlooking the negative in favor of this more marketable, fluffy approach? Marty, what are your thoughts on that, Marty?
Are you asking about ignoring negativity?
Yeah, so always focusing on the positivity and pretending that the world is living through rose-colored glasses and saying, oh no, this is how it always is. Yeah, almost like the video we watched, Marty, which was real life, not covered in a perfect moment.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like to look in the mirror, and I relate everything to fitness. If you literally look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, people will sugarcoat it. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, I'm thick. The dudes in my DM like it, And, that's not a way to improve. You're never going to improve. You're never going to get better. You're never going to reach your goals with that mindset. So you got to keep it real. And just like Tameka said, you kind of got to give no F's,
Yeah.
There's a big difference. I'm sorry to jump in, There's a big difference between, living in denial that nothing bad is happening or that you don't have any problems. There's a big difference between that and saying, okay, I'm going to find the silver lining in this problem. So there's two different words. Don't be confused. There's, finding the silver lining, finding the good in the bad, or finding the opportunity in the problem. This is a perspective that will drastically help you. But pretending that your problems are not there, that's a no-go. That's right there is massively problematic.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head there, John. Like, I think you can acknowledge that things are happening, right? You can acknowledge that there are systems set up against you. You can acknowledge that people are fucking haters. You can acknowledge all of that while still knowing, like, that does not stop me from doing what I need to do, nor will it get in my way, right? And I think that there's a difference between acknowledging the things that are going on around you versus making them the focal point of your journey. And at least on my end, like, I am honestly, it might be self-aware to a fault. So I think when it comes to being self-aware, it's also being intentional about both what you're good at and what you're not, rolling up and being okay in that and being honest in that space, but also knowing that, like, okay, whether I'm good at it or not, or whether this is an area of growth or not, I can be honest about my journey and still continue on that journey.
Yes. Hey, you're hanging out with Tameka here this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Good morning, good time. We're wrapping up the center stage segment. And if anything we said in the last few minutes resonated with you, I invite you to like the button, hit the like button, subscribe to the show, drop us a comment. We want to hear how you're turning your challenges into opportunities and strengths. Remember, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends goes live every single day at 8 o'clock Eastern time on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, a show that keeps you guys accountable to those biggest goals. And right now at the bottom of the hour here, the 32-minute mark of the hour, we got Christopher Martin coming with the CMartyFit tip. And then we're going to come back, digging into the deep dive, continue the conversation of letting go of expectations, doing things for yourself. I love it, Tameka. I got one seat, and it's for my ass, not for yours. I'm on a mission, and there's no room next to me. So, Marty, let's rock and roll, pal. Let's bring you up on stage. Let's get the Marty Fit tip in here. What do you got for us today, brother?
All right, let's get into it. We got the fitness tip for today. So we're going to talk about strengthening your lower back. Functional exercise. All right. These mimic everyday movements, improve your posture, and prevent injuries. So here's a quick list. I got 3 exercises you can do to help strengthen your lower back. First one, we got glute bridges. All right. Lie on your back with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. You're going to lift your hips and you pushing through your heels. All right. This is going to strengthen your glutes and your lower back, and it's going to work your hamstrings a little bit as well. Working your glutes and your hamstrings, making those stronger is going to take a lot of pressure off of your lower back. We got Supermans. Lie face down with your arms extended in front of you. All right, you're moving your chest and arms off the ground and your legs off the ground at the same time. You're going to hold for a few seconds. This is going to target your entire posterior chain, and it's definitely going to target the lower back. And then we got planks. You're going to sit in a push-up position, or you can do an elbow plank on your elbows, all right, keeping your body in a straight line from head to heels, all right? You're going to hold your core tight. And if you've been in the military, if you play sports, you should be familiar with planks. Y'all know they're a killer. They look easy, but this is great for strengthening that core and strengthening your lower back, all right? Functional exercises improve stability, flexibility, and it's going to help you prevent injury. This is going to keep you strong for everyday tasks, picking up your kids, picking up the groceries, doing simple things in life that you overlook and you can easily get injured. All right. Focus on your form and strengthen your lower back. That's your fitness tip for today.
CMartyFit every single day. At the bottom of the hour here, we are hanging out with CMartyFit. Jon Andersen, Keith Bilous, Tameka and Kristina Flynn here. We're going to bring Kristina in this morning as well here. We're going to get into the deep dive. We were supposed to hang out with our friend Adam House here today, but Adam had a customer commitment to get into. So we're going to continue our conversation here today this morning with Tameka around letting go of expectations and breaking down this idea of the price versus cost of managing expectations. Jimmy, let's bring up Kristina into this. Let's bring Kristina into the conversation as well. Trust me, this conversation in the next 12 minutes is going to hit home, I believe. Tameka, when we talk about expectations, we're talking about effort, compromises, but not many people talk about the cost of an expectation, the cost of putting time into something. Let's talk about, let's play the devil's advocate here. Are all expectations that we have amongst ourselves or others have on us, are they bad? You know, expectations that family have on us, mentors have on us. Do those expectations push us to be better, Tameka?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's a really deep question. And sorry, I'm a New Yorker, so I'm a cursor.
Good. Yeah.
Please don't hold it against me.
Yeah.
But without expectations set by my family, set by my parents, I would not have gotten as far as I did, right? Like, having to live up to their expectations. They immigrated to this country. They didn't know the language, right? They both went on to create careers, to get degrees. Like, they are superheroes in and of their own right. I did not have the choice to not be successful, but how I am successful is my choice. And I think that is where expectations become a thing, right? If it was up to my parents, I would be a nurse somewhere in a hospital, right? Like doctor, lawyer, they only knew a handful of certain careers that mimicked or led to success for them. So you really have to find a compromise there, right? And know that, like, okay, these expectations don't necessarily mean I have to become exactly who you want me to, because I can tell you right now, I am nothing like what my parents thought I would be. But at the end of the day, I can sustain, right? I make enough money for me to be happy and for me to support them. And I'm going after my dreams. I am actively working towards something that I want in life, and I'm chipping away at it. And based off of the definition of success they have given me, I'm more than doing that. And that's okay.
So here's the question for everybody on the panel right now. One of the hardest parts about dropping other people's expectations is the fear of letting them down. Our parents, our families, our friends. How do you overcome the fear to stay true to yourself? Essentially saying, fuck you guys. I know the route. I'm going on it. I'm sorry that I might be letting you down. I'm sorry that I might not be I'm sorry that I might not be meeting your expectations. That is a tough, difficult pill to swallow for family members. Like, I'm thinking of myself as a parent. I'm sure one day my kids are going to come up and I'm going to have a certain expectation and it's probably not going to be met. Who wants to take this one on first?
I'll go ahead.
Marty.
All of us.
So I can relate to Tameka. Tameka, how old are you? If you don't mind.
I'm 31.
Oh, same age.
So, yeah, I'm 31 as well. So I can relate, because that generation of parents, I'm nothing of what my mom wanted me to be. Not, I'm not doing anything bad. Still a productive citizen. But
Kristina might get mom on the show.
Yeah,
that would be hilarious. But I look at it like this though. How many times have I let my mom down? I've been letting my mom down since elementary school, middle school. And not on purpose. It's just part of being a son or a daughter. So, hey, I'm continuing the cycle as an adult. Oh, well, I'm going to let you down again. You're still going to love me at the end of the day. I'm still going to be there for Thanksgiving, Christmas. We still going to have a good time. You'll get over it. Oh, well. And I'm probably going to piss her off again in a couple years with another decision I make. Oh, well. But that's a great way to look at it. That's what helps me, because I love what I do. I love where I'm at. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Who's next? Who's going to answer? Who's going to manage that disappointing expectations?
I'll jump in here. So, I was the youngster, meaning I had older brothers, and my older brothers, they were more of the all-American type, so to speak. What I mean, and especially from my perspective, they just kind of did everything really well within kind of the guidelines that society or parenting gave them, and they did it really well. And then I came along, And I would mean shit, man. I couldn't read inside the guidelines that that were set. So I had to start figuring out how to do it my way early. And that led into my adult life. And I've dealt with a lot of guilt. I dealt with a lot of feeling like, man, look at my brothers, man. They're so happy with them. And then there's me. Well, what I didn't realize was that me doing my own thing was a massive part of me learning to be unapologetically me. And when all the dust settled, what they really wanted from me was to be happy, and they wanted me to be able to be secure enough to take care of myself and my family. Mm-hmm. And so as I continued to do what I was doing and chase my dreams, yeah, there was points where it looked, when I'm living on friends' couches, it looked like I was going down the wrong path for sure. But I stuck to my guns and I continued to be myself, even though it was really difficult. And then basically, as the whole thing unfolded, it was only like the universe kind of let everything fall into place. I started to be really, really good at what I was doing, which was chasing my dream. And through the process of kind of going against the grain, I learned to be unapologetic of myself with the people that are most important in my life, which made it really fucking easy to be unapologetically myself for all the motherfuckers out there that I really don't give a shit about.
Yeah. Kristina, I got a question for you. What's the cost of rejecting expectations? Sometimes pushing back means losing relationships, missing out on opportunities, losing friends, losing family members. Is that price always worth it from your experience, Kristina, or from people maybe you have spoken to? This idea of, fuck it, giving the finger to the world, I'm going down my path, and then you wake up and you have no friends, no family. Is that price worth it, Kristina?
Listen, you're talking to a queer woman. So queer people often have to face this issue. We have to face this reality that when we start coming out, when we start feeling comfortable with ourselves and who we are, it becomes easier to unapologetically accept yourself, number one. Number two, then you go on the journey of, I might lose everyone. It's a reality that I have to face. And so is my happiness in that moment in time worth potentially losing everyone in my life? I grew up Roman Catholic. It was not a guarantee that I would be welcomed into my house. I had a gay aunt that nobody talked about. So it was like, I knew what I was getting into, but when you become unapologetically yourself and you are clear on who you are, to me, I'll never speak on behalf of anyone else, but to me, you do the cost benefit. I'm a business person at the end of the day, and the cost benefit, the cost of losing everyone, the benefit to myself of being able to show up as I am, whoever I am, without having to worry about other people, that was worth it every single day. And when you talk about expectations, listen, what I realized when I came out to my mom, what expectations were on behalf of parents. And at first I was like, fuck you, I am who I am. You got to deal with me. This is like who I like, you got to accept me. What I realized over time though, was that was super unfair, because especially as parents, from the time that you are born, your parents are building a story, and they're building a story about you and them and your siblings, if you have them, the life that you're going to create. And what I realized is that my mom had this story of me and my two sisters and 3 perfect chisel jawed husbands that would be the daddies of their grandparents. And when I came out, I shattered her own expectations of her life. And she didn't know what the story was anymore. And she didn't know how to continue. So instead of me saying, fuck you, you got to deal with this, I actually was able to feel a lot more empathy, especially now being a mom, to say, you're right. And I'm sorry, I can still be unapologetically me, but I'm going to give you space, just like it took me time and space to get to who I am. I'm going to give you time and space to get to who you are and what you're comfortable with.
Wow, that's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Kristina. Tameka, closing comments from you as we work towards wrapping up this segment. What's your perspective on this idea of whose expectations are you living for?
Yeah, Tameka. I honestly think, I mean, Kristina and I talk about this pretty often. I'm also a Black queer woman. And so you could say that like I've let my parents down in way more ways than one, right? But I think also everything that Kristina touched on about really having that empathy and helping guide them through your journey, the same way you needed to be guided through your journey, right? Like nobody wakes up one day and decides, all right, well, this is the day that I'm going to completely implode my life, right? Instead, we make calculated decisions to really understand, okay, who's going to be in my life? How are people going to react after I make this decision? How are people going to react after I decide to go in a certain direction? And essentially, you internally know, right, what your results might be. And you have to be able to mentally sit with that and be okay with that. But at the end of the day, I think realistically, whether it is a life decision, a career decision, a brand decision, you have to be feet firmly planted on the ground enough to know this is important enough to me that I need to share it with the people who love me. And if they love me in the ways that I think they do, they're going to rock with me. And if they don't, that might be a necessary loss. Yeah. And the whole concept of necessary loss is one that people don't want to accept, but it's something that we will have to experience throughout our lives, regardless of who you are. So yeah, just get comfortable with necessary loss because it will happen in one form or another.
What a powerful conversation we're having here this morning with Kristina Flynn, CMartyFit, Jon Andersen, myself, and Tameka Bazile. We're talking about managing expectations, letting go of expectations, perhaps letting go of friends and family when you come out as yourself in the mirror to your family and friends as the true human. What's the cost of that? What's the price versus the cost? Tameka, we could talk about this all day with you. I would love to have you back. I'm really, really grateful that you were able to fill the gap for us here this morning as well. Listen, as we continue on with the show, Tameka, how can we find you? How can Business Athlete Nation find you? Where can they get a hold of you? And where can we continue following your journey, Tameka?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a yapper. So you can pretty much find me on almost any social media platform yapping about one thing or another. But I'm most active on LinkedIn, where I yap about social media, both as a career and how it affects our culture over time, or on TikTok, where I just yap about being a woman and a career woman and a success-driven woman and really just kind of creating relationships there. So.
Fantastic. Tameka, thanks for joining us here this morning on Mornings in the Lab. You come back and see us again sometime?
For sure.
Awesome.
Thank you, Tameka.
Awesome. Listen, Nation, if you're getting value from the conversation, I invite you to hit that like button, subscribe, comment, and don't forget, in hour 2, we're going to reload the morning loop, where we're going to dive into something, men and women, that, man, we always debate about. Listen, we got In the Gym coming up with C. Marty and Jon. Community Corner, where we celebrate amazing humans, and Kristina and I are going to wrap it up with the business and branding. Stick around. We got AJ Zeglin coming up in a couple of minutes to talk about the mental side of things. The mental dude, AJ Zeglin. But right now, we have a segment we called The Lifestyle Tip with Jon Andersen. Jon always brings a solid piece of advice, whether it's putting hamburger in your pocket, whether it's carrying nuts in your pocket. It's funny, Seth Kuhn, Johnny says, hey, I got some nuts in my pocket, Keith. They're being thigh warmed. Like, thigh warmed. He's like, yeah, thigh warmed almonds. I'm like, oh, Seth, man.
That baby Seth. I love it.
Johnny always brings a solid piece of advice to help you guys get going. Jon, what do you got for us today, brother? Let's rock and roll. Let's get out of here, Kristina and Marty. Let's let Johnny get up on stage here today. Johnny, rock and roll, pal.
Let's do it. All right. When you say no to one thing, you're actually saying yes to something else. So think about this. When you make a habit of saying no to the things that don't serve you and the ones you love in your life, you are actually creating opportunities for yourself to say yes to the things you need to do that will serve you and the ones you love. So don't think that saying no is a bad thing. Saying no is a good thing. Saying no is saying that you are going to do more for you and more for the ones you love. So next time someone asks you to do something that you know doesn't serve you or the ones you love the way you know it should, reach down deep, take a deep breath, have some guts, and say no, because you are actually saying yes to something that will serve you. Rock and roll.
No, so because we're so quick as humans to say yes, right? Especially when it comes to expectations. Oh, yes, 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 yes. The power of saying no. The power of saying no is an incredibly empowering thing to say. So, all right, no time for breaks, nation. We're going to jump straight into our next segment here called Mind Fuel. It's a segment that we got where we really get into the mindset that drives growth, success, and fulfillment. And today we got none other than the man, AJ Zenglin, joining us. AJ is someone who challenges the way we think about how we approach life. The guy trains athletes. The guy trains men like me and Jon and Marty. And he's here to give us that mental push we need. AJ, welcome to the show, brother.
Morning, guys. How you guys doing today?
What's up, AJ? How are you, brother?
What's up, AJ?
It's good to have.
Always good to see you guys.
Always good to see you here as well, pal. So, AJ, today we're talking about letting go of expectations. Essentially, you have fuck expectations. Let's just get right into it. You've been talking to people about how they approach challenges. People come to you and say, man, I got a challenge, AJ. I need some help. How do you sit down with folks to change their perspective to see these challenges as opportunities? AJ, the pointed question is, what's your take on how men in particular deal with pressures and expectations that society throws at them? And I'll throw one on the table first of all. I'm a dad. AJ, you're a dad. Johnny's a dad. Marty's going to be a dad. I wake up every single day asking myself if I'm a good dad. And I'm battling the expectations of society putting on me going, oh, are you a good dad or are you a bad dad? Right? Let's talk about the expectations of society on us men, AJ, about being a good dad or being just a good human being and those pressures that we wake up to every day. AJ.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a whole bunch of, I think, like information that floats out around there and people's opinions on different stuff, and especially in the age of social media where we're just overwhelmed with all these opinions on you should do this, you got to be this, and everything is so extreme, right? Everything's on one end of the extreme or the other, right? It's there's like, it seems like there's no middle ground, right? It's like, hey, you got to wake up in the morning and do these 5 things or you're the worst person alive.
Yes.
Or you got to do this. I have the one magic trick, and if you're not doing it, you're a terrible father, or whatever you said, right? Like
yes.
it's what, sorry, I missed that.
I said it's like cold plunging. Like people swear up and down.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I could talk about that one for a while, actually. But anyway, like and it just seems like that's the way everything goes right now. So I think it's really important that you have the ability to have a little bit of self-reflection, right? And you decide like, hey, what's the type of person that I want to be? What's the type of dad that I want to be? And then you identify what those things are that you think that dad would do or what that person would do. And if like, hey, I want to be a great dad. What do I think a great dad would do? Well, I think a great dad would do this and this and this, right? Okay, now I have a couple things. I have some actionable steps. I don't have to be able to see the whole thing, but I can see the next step right now. I've identified what it means to me, and I've identified off the start a couple of things that I think I would have to do to be that person. Okay, now I can start doing them every day. You guys always talk about going to the gym every day and doing stuff like that. That are your non-negotiables, right? These just turn into more non-negotiables. And then when it gets confusing out there and you read, you open up your phone one day or whatever, and you see some article being like, oh, if you're not doing these things, you're bad or you're wrong or whatever. And, you question, you're like, well, I don't do those things. And but now you have some evidence for yourself, right? You're like, no, I have undeniable proof that I'm the person that I want to be. I've identified what that looks like, and I've been doing those things every single day. Those are my non-negotiables, right? I wake up and I do these things every day, and it might look different for all of us, and that's okay. Not everyone has to have the same things that they value or that they treasure, right? It's an individual process that we go through.
I guess something for all of you guys, Marty, Jon, and AJ. This is all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Let's push back on this for a second. Somebody's struggling financially, can't pay their bills. Somebody's struggling in their marriage, and all they're hearing is us just fucking blowing smoke up their ass. This mindset won't change anything for me, AJ. I can't pay my fucking bills. How do you respond to that? Like, Johnny, how do you respond to somebody who's like, yeah, great, Jon, I like your habits and I like your mindset shift, but I can't get my shit together right now. Mindset doesn't change reality, Jon Andersen. What do you
actually mindset does change reality. Oh, I mean, you got to remember, you can't say, okay, Jesus Christ, I've let myself go. You know, I'm fat, I'm pathetic, I'm broke, I can't pay my bills, I'm ready to change my mindset, everything come back to me real quick. It doesn't work that way. You know, you've got to basically own this stuff from the jump. You know, are you living your life? Are you leading by example? First, you have to lead yourself. If you lead yourself, these problems you're talking about are not going to be here. Now, are you going to be rich? Maybe not. Are you going to have the most awesome physique on the planet? Maybe not. Are you going to be the best of everything? Maybe not. But are you going to be okay? And these problems that you're bitching about, are they still going to be in your face? Most likely not. So you've got to live your life lead first. And when AJ was talking, or I was basically, I mean, it's about leading by example. If you are living in a way where you're leading by example, you're leading yourself first, and you're leading yourself in a way where you are being successful, and success is not just money, it's all of the things that are important to you. That's going to trickle down to your kids. Guess what? When you're leading by example, it's also going to take care of you. So this guy that's broke, I get it. You know, changing your mindset and doing all this stuff in the morning today is not going to fix your problems. But if you had actually started a little bit before you had worn yourself down to being completely pathetic and broke, this mindset is real. It's just you waited too long to start to see the glass is half full rather than being half empty.
Marty, you have customers coming to you all the time. I watch your Instagram content. You are about reality. You're about, listen, dude, you want to, so talk to me about this statement. Somebody is going, fuck, man, Marty, my mindset doesn't pay my bills. Get real with me right now, brother. Get real with me. The client's coming in because I know you can get real. Get real with me. Somebody tuning in right now, because I agree with Johnny. Mindset can be reality. Marty, get real with me right now, brother.
We can look at it at a different angle. Your mindset led you to be in this situation. So you have no choice but to change it.
It'll lead you whatever situation you want to be in. You just, where is the mind? What path is the mind plotted for you?
Exactly. And if you keep that mindset, it's probably only going to get worse.
Yes.
So you have absolutely no choice but to change your mindset. So, you know, whether that's the financial standpoint or the fitness, you know, your health is only going to get worse if you don't change, right? You're only going to gain more weight. You're only going to, be at risk for more injuries. So it's urgent that you change your mindset. So, you choose your difficult.
Yes.
Right? You choose the difficulty of going through this process and changing, or you can go the difficult route of making it worse. So it's all up to you. We're adults.
But AJ, you got guys coming to you going, I need your help, man. You're the expert. You're the mind dude. You're the mental dude. You are going to help me pay my bills. I'm sitting in front of you right now as the expert. Help me with my mental challenges. And you're saying what to me, Keith? Get your shit together. The mindset is reality, because Marty and John just said, well, dude, if you're going to keep eating fucking Five Guys and you're going to keep eating fried chicken, that mindset is your reality. You're not going to achieve those big goals. AJ, how do you take that guy, that man, the man? How do you change? How do you go, no, man, you got to go this way if you want to achieve those goals?
Yeah. One step. All you got to do is take that first step. And it's always anchored in action, right? What we forget sometimes is that action precedes the motivation. We're not going to be sitting there on the couch one day and all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I just flipped my whole mindset. I'm so motivated right now. I will be motivated for the rest of my life. The action comes first, right? So the action precedes the motivation. So you get them to take that one step. You get them to get off the couch and go for one walk. You get them to do one thing, right? And then all of a sudden, we begin that shift, right? We're talking about mindset. Our mindset is shaped by our experiences, right?
Yes.
See, Marty made a great point. If you're sitting there telling me like, hey, well, how positive can my mindset be? And it's like, well, your mindset's really powerful. Look where you are right now. Your mindset took you there, right? Whether it's negative or positive, right? So, and we're going to relate that to our experiences. So if my experience is that I sit on the couch every day and I don't do anything, and I feel sorry for myself, and I don't look for work, or I don't exercise, or I don't do these things, then that's where our mindset goes, right? But if we just get up and we have the courage, we have the belief, we have to just take that first step to get up and move, and we physically move, Now, what's
Yes.
our experience the next day? Okay, well, my experience now, my short-term experience is that yesterday I got off the couch and I went for a walk. Okay, well, now I do that again, and I do it again, and I do it again. Now that's not the outlier, right? Now that's the regular thing. And what's my experience? Well, now my experience is that I go for walks every day. Okay, my mindset begins to shift now, right? So that action has to come first. And it can be really tough to take that first step because, you know, you're in a terrible spot mentally and your mindset is maybe not great and it's very negative and you're caught in this loop and you're stuck in this rut. But you need that that courage, that ability to take that first step. And that comes from some, obviously, nothing can change unless you're willing to do it for yourself. But you could also have resources and supports. When I work with people all the time, I'm like, I can't do anything for you. Like, I cannot save you. You save yourself. You do this all yourself. I'm simply a tool that you have in your toolbox that you're like, hey, I can use AJ. I can talk to him. I can use him for these things. And this is very helpful for me. But then you go and you do the work, right? You save yourself. You're the one that makes the changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got to put a little piece in there. Love that, brother. That's so on the money. And here's the thing. If you're laying on the couch and you've made a habit of being in this pathetic place, you pretty much know what tomorrow's going to be like. You can predict what tomorrow, the next day, and you're complaining because you don't like that reality. Well, guess what? Doing something different, just like my man said, when you do something different, that creates change. And what you're after is change. So that first step needs to be motivated by the fact that you need change. And if you keep your ass on the couch, you can guarantee what's happening tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And what's not happening is change. So take that first step.
That's right. That's right. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, Jon, Marty, and our good friend AJ Zeglin here this morning. AJ, incredible conversation, man. What a great chat. One thing in 60 seconds or less, what's one thing you want everybody listening to you right now to take away from today's conversation, AJ Zeglin?
Yeah, I would go back to what we were just talking about, and the idea that the action precedes the motivation. The action is going to come first. Mm-hmm. So think about who you want to be. Think about what you want to do. Think about, and then take one thing, one step, one actionable step, and then do that. Most of us know deep down what we need to do. And it's usually the stuff that we're avoiding the most, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're avoiding the most. And just know that everything that you want is lying right on the other side of the work that you're avoiding doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
chase the feeling, nation. Chase that feeling. If you're sitting back right now going, I don't know what I want to do, chase the feeling, just like our friend Good Time does. Good Time, Marty, joined the show here weeks and weeks and weeks. So check this out, man. Good Time has been walking for 7 weeks now. He gets up every single day, hangs out with us on the show, and goes for a walk. Good Time. We celebrate you, brother. Good job doing that.
AJ too, a lot.
Yeah, and Good Time joins Marty on the show as well there. So, Age, thanks for hanging out with us today, pal. We'll see you back on Thursday. Continue the conversation with Mental Mind Fuel. AJ, final word to you, brother.
Yeah, I got a quick question for Jon. Those almonds that are warmed on his thigh, are those warmed on the outside or the inner thigh?
Well, I suppose it depends where your pockets are.
All right, I didn't know.
Because the instruction is put the almonds in your pockets. So I guess that's purely determined of where the pockets are in your pants. And if you got some on the inner thigh, those pants are designed for something. I don't know what they're for, but I'd like to know more about them. Goodness.
New inner thigh almond warming pants coming soon from the Business Athlete Performance Lab, designed by Jon Andersen with influence from Seth Kuhn and AJ Zeglin. All the good questions. Age, have an awesome one, pal. We're looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. But AJ, hang around for this. You got to be a part of this. Listen. Oh, I think we're getting a twitch coming from Coach Flynn, Marty. There she is. AJ, have a good one, brother.
A twitch. I love it.
AJ,
thank you, brother.
We got the personal brand by joining with Kristina Flynn coming up.
I love the twitch. That's good.
Actionable tip to get you guys brand going together. Flinner, you're up, Coach.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh,
I can't watch the show back because I'm so embarrassed by myself. But you know what? Fuck expectations. Here we go. So we've been talking about this over the last few weeks, and you are more than the labels that you've been given. Have you ever been slapped with a label that feels like a life sentence? I can tell you that I have. I was the dumb, painfully shy, and really sick kid. By 12, I had a psychiatrist and a list of labels that seemed never ending. Speech impediment, learning disability, ADHD, depression, anxiety, you name it. My mom told me one time, she confessed that we being her and my dad, they thought I might never live alone. That's how deep and dark my issues were. When I say that, I feel the weight of it. So here's the thing. I did not let those labels define me. If I had, I wouldn't have played university basketball, graduated with honors, worked in the NBA, led a $100 million social impact project, co-founded multiple companies and agencies. And I want you to hear this. Your past trauma and experiences, they are 100% real. They matter and they deserve healing, but they're not your full story. You are more than the labels that you've been slapped with. You're more than the narrative or the story that you've been telling yourself. Your story is about the future, not the past, the future that you're working your ass off to build. So today, just try this. Do me a favor. Try this. Say it to yourself. I have the ability to rise above and redefine my story. And that's exactly what I'm going to fucking do. I have entered my no fucks era. And I promise you, if you implement today's brand bite, you will be one step closer to entering yours. You got this.
Here we go. We got Kristina Flynn here joining us. That is an incredible part of our brand bite here. Now we're heading into hour 2 of the show here, and I got some sound effects that I'm still working on getting the board worked up here, but hey, Morning Loop reloaded. Yep, we're reloading the Morning Loop with a provocative topic. Johnny, Kristina, Marty, I got the question every man and woman's wondering. Marty loves when I go here. Yeah.
You sitting on the throne today?
Oh, hey, gonna get close to it. Coming up, see Marty and John are taking over in the gym. We're gonna break down how expectations can hold you back physically, nation. Yeah. We're also gonna head into the community corner where we're gonna celebrate amazing humans. And then Kristina and I are gonna wrap the show up with the business and branding segment. Let's relaunch this thing. So, guys, yeah, we're gonna talk today a little bit about a myth amongst men and women. Johnny, I always look to you, pal, with these kind of topics, I think, because we're the old guys on the crew. And you know where I'm going with this, man. We're going to talk relationships. We're going to talk sex. We're going to talk that stuff. But
let's go, baby. Let's go. Stop teasing it. Let's get in it.
Come on, man.
Let's get in that flesh. Get in that flesh.
All right. Here we go. Here's the big conversation for the Morning Loop Reloaded. Over 500 couples around the world use a stopwatch, Marty, to track their intra-ejaculatory latency time. Yes, Seth. Yeah, intra-ejaculatory. And
define that.
What is it?
Yeah.
Define that.
So doctors. So here's the big topic today. There's a debate around how long we actually have sex with our partner. Is it 3 seconds, 5 minutes, 20 minutes? Is it an hour? Is it 3 hours? And doctors rate this around this idea of intra-ejaculatory latency time. From the moment you insert the penis into the vagina, you have sex, and the moment that you ejaculate is this intra-ejaculatory latency time. So the question is, nation, how long do we have sex as humans? So typically, we're all like, oh, yeah, I had sex for a couple hours with my wife last night. And the wife's like, no, actually, we had sex for 38 seconds. So they did a little bit of a study wondering how long is the average time. So intra-ejaculatory latency time is basically just the medical speak, John, Marty, Kristina, for the time from penetration to ejaculation. So on average, men estimate the ideal length for sex is about 16 minutes. And believe, John, that the actual length of sex is roughly 9 minutes. However, this doesn't actually quite match what the study found to be true. So, out of 500 couples around the world who used a stopwatch, Marty. Yeah, stopwatch. All right, honey, let's go. Get the stopwatch going. The average length was found to be how much, Kristina Flynn?
45 seconds.
Oh!
And then we'll talk about how this is a limited view of sex. But go.
The three pump and dump, baby. The three pump dump.
I was gonna crack it. So can I crack the joke here? Now we know why Kristina is on Azalea
Oh,
team.
there's plenty of reasons. That might be one of them, but there's plenty. We don't have enough time in the show.
Hey, that must be a Canadian thing. Me and Jon Andersen ain't doing that.
I'm running over there with only 45 seconds. Can somebody save me?
If only.
Johnny, what do you think is the time that is the average?
God, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm an extremist by nature, so everything I do is extreme, And so I got to tell you, if there's one thing I'm not good at, is guessing how the common man does something as a non-extremist. My guesses are don't make sense. But
give me the fucking number, man.
I'm okay. I don't know. 5 minutes? Fuck, I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to. I mean, I definitely have to come stronger for the common man than Kristina gave it 48 seconds or whatever it was. So I'm gonna try to. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to will this into hopefully something but good rather than bad.
Marty,
I can't even talk about it. Jesus Christ.
Marty, did he just say what I thought? He said, I'm going to come stronger than the average man.
That's exactly what he said. That's why I was laughing.
Well, I told you I'm an extremist, man,
So this is clearly hitting a nerve in the comments here because people have their opinions. But Marty, I got to look at you, brother. What do you think was the average time in the study?
I say 3 minutes.
All right. So here's the truth. Out of 500 couples around the world who used a stopwatch to track their intra-ejaculatory latency time, the average length was found to be 5.7 minutes.
Oh shit! I was pretty good. I wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing: you hit a stopwatch. Okay, honey, here we go. Click. You're on stage. Your performance, so you better not dump that thing quick. Jesus Christ! You're in the middle of a study.
So we're not done yet. Quite differently to the men, Kristina, looking at you, another poll of 400 women. Yes, Seth, I said poll. Another poll of 400 women found, Marty, that the average length of time they desire
45 seconds
was 25 minutes.
Yeah.
I
don't
understand this study because number one, this study was for sure developed by men because that means the definition of sex is only penetration, and the definition of when sex is finished is when y'all ejaculate. That's just wild to me. So for sure, a bunch of men came up with this study. Not even true.
So let me just see here. It's Dr. Mal. So this is someone, Dr. Mal, and this thing off here. Dr. Malik said there's quite a debate in these comments that people have no concept on how long sex actually lasts. And one of the comments in the study was, in my sexual lifetime, experienced many different times. And here's the reality. I think, gentlemen, Marty, John, I think we can just frame this out right here. It all depends on various factors that everybody knows right now. How long have you not had it? How long is it going to be? How aroused are you? Is it morning? Is it night? Are you tired? Is it going to be 8 seconds, 40 seconds, 2 minutes? The fact is that it's higher than 27 seconds or 45 seconds hurts people's feelings. So let's look at some of the comments here on the side here that good time is all about being in and out. Hey, good time's efficient. Like, I got to go for a walk with the boys in the morning. I got to go up and go for a walk. Shelly Spence is laughing her head off over there. Shinku averages 8 to 15 minutes. Shinku, you might want to hang out with Johnny and teach Johnny a few things. And what's this here? We got Alexander, I shall avert my eyes. Yes, of course. And then, of course, Lauren's coming in with Kristina. Good time. The countdown must be, but we got like this one here. We got Mike McQuillan coming in with, I would have lasted longer this morning, but I had to tune into the lab. Thanks a lot, Mike McQuillan. Thanks for hanging out with you this morning. So the reality is, guys, this study this morning is how long are we lasting for the morning loop reloaded? The average is 5.7 minutes. So boys, if you got some time today with your wife, your partner, your significant other, you might just need 6 minutes to get it done. There you go.
I gotta say, if when it was Terry time and I gave her the choices, are we going to go ride the dirt bikes? We're going to go out to the lake, or we're going to go in the bedroom. If the caveat was going to the bedroom, you're going to get 5 minutes, she would probably slap me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, five is insane.
5 minutes
She'd be
is a
like,
lot.
what is wrong with you? Who are you? And where's my husband?
Like I could see, in high school or, early college days, maybe, but as an adult, nah, you should be a pro by now.
Hey, but come on. I'm gonna, gentlemen, we all been there. We all been there. Marty, Johnny, we've all been there. We're all in love with our partner, our wife. And, maybe it hasn't been around. Maybe there's been no intimacy or no touching for a number of days or for whatever. Life gets in the way. And then all of a sudden you just have a little touch, Johnny. And you're like, oh.
Well, but here's the thing.
Whoa.
Here's the thing.
I'm going to roll the clip first,
You got
John.
to lock in, coach. You got to lock in, Keith. You got to lock in.
Yeah, let's just say thank you, Marty, because here's the thing. We know in how the way that sex works with a man and a woman, that the woman is usually going to get the short end of the stick because the man kind of dictates the length as we're talking about. So the man has to be smart enough to enter the equation, understanding, okay, this is my challenge and how to overcome the challenge. But more importantly, I think what the biggest problem is, I think that most men, and this is a serious part of this, I think that most men are not really focused on pleasing their partner. And if you focus on pleasing your partner, this whole 5 minute thing is fucking gone.
Yes.
Some time.
I mean, because when it comes down to it,
it's a raw definition of sex. It sucks.
Yeah, we know it takes.
Equals.
Yes, we know it takes a woman longer to get aroused to that point than a man. And you understand that, we know too much about the situation to allow this to happen if you really give a shit.
And I want to add this too before we move on. Listen, man, y'all are married. So your partner's there. They love you already. Me, I'm going in the group chat if I last 5 minutes. They going to talk about me. I'm at the gym. The guy at the gym, yeah, that guy was 5 minutes. So I got to lock in. I can't do no 5 minutes. That's not.
Secret for you, whether you're married or not, women were talking about it. Our people know our shit. It doesn't matter if you're married.
And I'll say this too. They come to the gym and they tell the trainer about it.
Exactly. And the hairdresser.
And the hairdresser, the barber, all of that.
Oh, man. I got to offer this up here as we continue the show. We're going to get into in the gym with Marty and John. John, Kristina, every single day when we move Christopher Martin along the path a little bit, he just becomes a little more vulnerable, sharing himself a little more and more and more, man. I love watching your journey, Marty, because we're all the married folks here, and you're like, yeah, man, I'm the 31-year-old dude looking for the chicks, right? So I'm loving the stories coming from you, from your point of view. I think we're going to have a shirt coming from Marty one day, less brunches, more crunches, and more than 5 minutes, right? So it'll be...
Well, yeah, when you're living in the singles world too, if you can get the job done, that word spreads quickly as well. So if you're living in singles world, you're a 3 pump dump dude, you ain't gonna get much ass.
You'll be single for a long ass time.
With Shinku coming in with 5 minute Marty. Marty's like, no way, man. I'm not 5 minute Marty at all. So there we go. And then we got Alex coming in with enter the equation. Yes. Alex, we heard it too. Short end of the stick. Yeah, Johnny's got some good way of words this morning because we know Johnny's stronger than all of us and he's coming stronger than all of us as well. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get on to that was a strong start to hour 2, Kristina Flynn. What a great start to the show. This second hour here. Stick around. Coming up right now is CMarty and John hitting us with In the Gym. And they're going to talk about how letting go of expectations can unlock a whole new level in your physical training. Let's keep it rolling here. So they're going to talk about how expectations hold you back physically. They just do, right? You go in the gym, you're like, oh, I'm going to do that. Then you don't. You're like, oh, fuck, I didn't hit my expectations. Or you go in and your trainer's like, well, you can't do that. So whether it's trying to meet unrealistic fitness goals or living up to someone else's standards in the gym, they'll be talking about how to free yourself from those limits and train in a way that works for you. So Shinko's like, this is my favorite part of the show. Shinko, you and me both, brother. So John, Marty, let's get into the CMartyFit tip. And we got people that tune into the show after these last 12 minutes.
What do you mean the CMartyFit tip? This is in the gym segment, baby.
Get him, Johnny. Get him, Johnny. Cut loose, Johnny. Cut him loose.
Get me off stage, man. Is this show over yet? Let's get John and Marty on the stage. Get Keith and Kristina out of here. You guys go to work. Let's get the hell out of here.
All right, man.
I love it.
So,
well, this topic, real quick, the first thing I want to start it off with is that this is something that I preach to my clients all the time. And there's a lot of different dimensions of this topic. But one of the things that I'm always saying, and I use this myself too, is that when we have expectations of our performance going into the gym, that in many cases is a bad deal. Let's use International Bench Day as a prime example. Somebody goes in there on Monday and he's expecting he's going to do X on the bench, and he doesn't do it. He's all butthurt. He's carrying around a negative attitude for the rest of the training session. And guess what? That shit sucked. And even worse, he's got a negative association with going to the gym. So does he want to go back tomorrow? Not as much. So when you have expectations of things you can't control, you put yourself at massive risk of having a bad experience. And what makes this whole drill easier is when you go in there and you have a good experience day after day, makes you want to go back tomorrow. Because when you want to do something, it's a whole lot easier than when you have to.
Yeah, I look at it too from an athlete's perspective. You know, you're not going to have your best day. You're not going to have your best game every game. So
exactly,
you know, that applies to hooping. That applies to football. It applies to the gym. So some days you're not going to be able to, you know, lift your max. You might fail, and it's fine. Did you get to the gym? Yes. Did you put the effort in? Yes. Are you getting better? Are you getting stronger? Are you contributing to your goal? Yes. So that's a win for the day. So even if you fail, you got to still look at it as a win for the day. And I think a lot of people, when it comes to fitness, then their expectations, they're not looking at the bigger picture. You know, they want to, how much weight can I lose in 30 days? Like, whoa, slow down. Your expectations are out the roof, you know?
Yeah. You know, and I think if we're talking about expectations, I think what we should really help our audience understand is, I think the expectation, if you're going to have one, is just to show up. And just if you keep the expectations, one simple expectation, just getting there, that right there, I think is enough, because you start stacking all this other shit on you. And next thing you know, you've got a whole bunch of pressure. And goodness gracious, we all have lives. Life gets in the way. The job gets in the way. The relationship gets in the way. And we're not totally on point. Next thing you know, we're not living up to all this crazy shit that we set for ourselves. And this is how people just quit. It just becomes too much. So again, I think, you know, we preach this all the time, man. You make the habit of showing up. That's the biggest chunk of the battle right there. So if you're going to have an expectation for yourself, just keep it simple. Keep it to the point where you get there. I mean, even if you get there and you don't do much, you still got there.
Yep. And I think a lot of, you know, I had a client today, actually, ironically, you know, you got to be careful with who you're listening to outside of the gym. You know, a lot of people have, you know, like somebody told one of my clients, well, you've been in the gym for 6 months. You should be more toned than that. And it's like, this is coming from somebody who don't even work out.
Yeah, the bro science is the best, dude. The bros know everything.
Like,
the bros know. Like, we don't know shit. The bros know it all.
We know everything, and it's like, this is somebody who's not in the gym. So I had to explain to the client, like, man, don't let that affect you. You know, this person is not putting work in, and the client has made significant change in 6 months. I'm like, look at you. You posting on Instagram your outfits every day because you like how you look in your outfit. So we're winning right now. So don't listen to that bullshit. So. Expectations can go, you know, one or two ways. What are the realistic expectations? Or, you know, like I said, look at the bigger picture. Let me commit to this for a year, and then let's compare. Let's not compare after 2 months, you know.
Well, and then, you know, the everybody's so different, you know, and they're hyper responders, and then there are people that don't respond quite as well. And the suffering by comparison is because people have expectations that they're going to have, you know, success of what they see in someone else. That's not a fair situation, especially with social media. You know, you're basically, people are looking at, you know, somebody on social media, they're looking at their fucking highlight reel and then wondering why they're not getting that. Well, first off, that the timeline that they put on was maybe a little bit skewed, and they're in the goon light. They're in the lighting that makes them look just right. They're in the outfit that it's the perfect world. And then you're sitting there in the gym, you know, looking in the mirror, wondering why you're not getting those same results. So the comparison to others, even if that person is like a training partner, you know, where they're in front of you, everybody is different. And you have to understand that you having an expectation of your success, especially comparing to someone else's, is a losing proposition.
And then I want to add this as well, as we're in the social media age. So when it comes to your fitness goals and expectations, always raise an eyebrow. Always be skeptical, because what trainers do is they'll post a transformation and be like, oh yeah, they did this in 3 months, knowing damn well they did it in 9 months or they did it in a year. You know, people will get on there and lie to get your money. So that's another reason why you just got to slow down with your expectations and not compare it to social media. I mean, it's the biggest, you got the biggest lies in the fitness industry on there ever right now. So, you know, be careful with that. Be mindful of that.
And that's a great point, brother, because, you know, when you're comparing your reality to someone else's, you know, fakery, or maybe it's not fake, maybe they just kind of made it look a little better than it is. That's not a comparison that you want to deal with. And when it's really easy to want to quit something when you feel like you're putting in work and you're not getting back what you deserve, but you got to really calibrate what you deserve with the work you're putting in. You know, that's one of the things I would say, you know, don't be bent out of shape about the progress you're not getting because of the work you're not putting in, you know. So you got to keep everything in line. But expectations can be a really, really slippery slope, because you have to have expectations on yourself that you're able to carry through with. And again, I'm recommending for you guys out there, just your expectations should be first showing up. If you got showing up nailed, like there's no problem there. Okay, at that point, if you want to start leaning into another one, give it a little thought. But it still needs to be, you need to have the second expectation that you have of yourself really needs to be thought through with some real calibration of reality.
And then I'm going to add this too. I know, Keith, you ready to move on. But when it comes to your expectations, you got to be real with yourself and look in the mirror. So before you got these wild expectations, really evaluate what you're doing. You know, you got Bud Light and Buffalo Wing Sundays every NFL Sunday because your team is playing on Sunday, right? But you want to sit here and have these wild expectations. So be real with yourself. Now, if you want to have wild expectations and you've been on top of your game, you've been on your water, you've been eating clean, that's one thing, right? Still probably got wild expectations, but just be honest with yourself and your journey.
I had to jump in here with you guys in the gym with CMartyFit and Jon Andersen here. You guys are talking about fakery on social media and so forth, and my ears perked up because I saw something that I want to show you guys, which I think leads into the conversation you guys were talking about with, you know, Marty, the fake pictures, the perfect physique, even though that was shot 6 months ago. I want to show you guys something which, John, Marty, you guys see this all the time because of the business that you're in, but I want to show this so you guys can educate Business Athlete Nation about how real this hoax is in this industry time and time again. Check this out. So this is Nikado Avocado. Recently shared his weight loss journey. Yeah. Who once again left his fans bewildered by posting videos with a heavier weight. We'll get this.
I didn't know he went on a journey. That's pretty good.
That's what he really looked like right there.
Wow.
So he did 5 years of these videos here.
Yeah.
Hoaxing the planet that he was on a journey to turn into this. So while he looked like this for the past 5 years, he actually been posting videos of himself looking like this so that he can convince people.
How the hell did he make himself look like that?
So all these videos were shot years ago, and then he kept repurposing them. He kept repurposing them.
Oh, okay.
It was like, so wow. Y'all so stupid. See this double chin? Yes, I acted this out for 5 years in a row.
Wow.
So every few months, Marty, he would repost this video to get you to buy into the fact that he's still fat and he's struggling and he's lost, and that was his story. But the point is, and I just want to lead into what you guys were saying, is that, expectations and reality are two different things, right? So just because you think somebody has expectations on you or your own expectations upon yourself, I think we really need to look at what might be behind the hoax of what's real and what's not real. Because especially Jon and Marty in this fitness industry that we're in and you guys are in, one picture tells 1,000 words. When was that picture taken? And Jon, you know as well as anybody, right? Especially in the fitness bodybuilding industry, you get to a point where you shred up, you get your pictures taken. Well, shit, man, those pictures can live on for a long time and you can sell that image for a long time. Right, Johnny Anderson?
Yeah, I mean, you're in the contest setting or even photo shoot setting. I mean, you're creating a look for like a 24-hour period.
Yes. Yeah.
And that look will disappear real quick. But like you said, that photo or that video will last forever. But one thing I do want to go back to the expectations real quick.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't want people, I believe that used properly, expectations on yourself can be really, really helpful. Like I have a high expectations of myself. I have a very high standard for myself, but to keep in mind, that's something that I built in steps. I didn't just one day say, okay, I'm going to do all this crazy shit and then not be able to do it and quit. I had my first expectation when I was a fat little son of a bitch was just to get to the gym.
Yes.
And I got there. And then the next thing you know, my next expectation was to train a little longer. And then it was to train, a little bit harder. Then it was to eat a little better. And I just kept kept bumping my bar. But see, now it's a standard. This is just who I am.
Yes.
So expectations really can be helpful if you use them in a way that serves you.
Yes. Let's go around and wrap the show up here. What a great conversation today. Cause I think expectations are important. I think they help set the bar. And Johnny, you said set the standard. And again, I'm going to repeat myself time and time again. This show is an example of just that. Right? If you would have tuned into Keith and Marty months ago, the bar was lower than what it is today. Right? So I texted Kristina outside as Jon and Marty are doing the segment here. I was like, man, what a fun show today, even though it's kind of a clusterfuck. Did today's show meet Keith's expectations? Actually, it kind of did. It didn't start there, but it got there. And I think Jon and Marty, as we talk about all the time, just get moving. Just get moving. Set an expectation for yourself, achieve it, and then keep moving. Because if you don't have the expectation, you don't know where to go. You don't have a mission to get to. I talked to you guys a few moments ago about my purpose as a man. I really want to be the best partner for my wife. I want to be the best dad for my children. Well, then I'm going to have to set an expectation. Or Johnny, like you said, you got to set a standard. So men, as you're rolling over this morning, starting your day, don't hit the snooze button. Don't be afraid to set an expectation for yourself and then work to meet it. And then move that bar and rise it again and keep rising it again. Let's go around the table. What did you guys think of the show today? Marty, what did you learn from the show today, even though it started out as kind of a clusterfuck? But what did you take from the show today as we wrap it up and we head into community corner and you guys get on with your day? Marty.
Tameka has a great perspective.
Yes.
Her energy was great as well.
Yes.
I would definitely love to have her back, do a deeper dive on some topics. And I definitely have questions to ask her. AJ, one of the GOATs,
yes.
the original business athlete. We love
yes.
AJ.
Yes.
So that was great. And then Keith, I'm gonna give you some credit today, man. I know this is rare. I don't usually give you a lot of credit.
I'm stiffening up here. Yeah.
So this is what I got to tell you. So
stiffening up. This is that's a weird thing to say on a thing while we're talking about sex all day.
Man. Yeah, come on, man. Now I don't want to compliment you anymore. No, I'm playing.
I'm stiffening up. That was good. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Segment's over. Marty's got nothing for me now. Oh, man.
No. On a serious note, though. Last week we had a situation where you were rattled the rest of the show. I don't want to get specific.
Yeah.
All right. But this week, today specifically, you messed up the intro.
Yeah.
You had audio issues. You had to leave. Let Kristina take over, come back, and you weren't rattled. You were great after.
Thank you.
You got better. So
thank you.
Congrats on that, man. I love to see your growth, man. Good job.
I appreciate that. No, that's awesome. No, but that's why we're a team. That's why we're a team, right? And I go to bed better than I ever have. I wake up every single better than I have because I know I got Marty, I got Kristina, I got Johnny, and we just do this together. right? And somebody stumbles, somebody picks the other person up. And Marty, as I was stumbling around, I looked at your face and I'm like, no, I'm fine because John and Marty are here. Like I just had no issues at all. So I appreciate those kind words, Marty. And again, as we're doing the Love Fest in front of our audience right now, I hope that we're teaching people that we practice what you preach, right? Don't pause, just get started, build a strong team around you and have support. Johnny, what did you take from today's show, brother?
Yeah, I think the beginning of the show where things went a little goofy, a little south.
Yeah.
I think just the fact that we owned it outright.
Yes.
And I think there's a huge lesson in that because so many people are hiding behind, they're waiting for the perfect time. They're waiting for the perfect this. They're waiting for the perfect that. There's no perfect time. The perfect time is right now, and the perfect place is right fucking here.
Yes.
So get at it.
Yes.
Are you going to make mistakes? Yes. You watched it happen to us, but we learned and we move on. And that's what the process is all about.
That's right. That's right. Tina, final word to you, kiddo. What would you take from today's show?
I think for me, expectations is a super interesting conversation that I don't think we often get to dig into very frequently. We ourselves on the show, but just generally, folks. I once heard stress described as or defined as when the reality of a situation does not meet your expectations of that situation. That's when stress occurs. And to me, that was always a really qualitative or quantitative way to look at stress. And I think it's true. Oftentimes when we are stressed out, it's because we want something to be different when it can't be. Like, for example, this fucking filter on your face. I really want to be different. I don't want to be looking at a Pixar character when I'm trying to have a serious conversation. But here we are. I'm not stressed about it because my expectations of you are really low. They're really low.
Oh, Kristina, I love it. I love having fun with you guys here on the show. What a great conversation here today.
You know what I just pictured? Christina's wife coming in like, what are your internet friends doing?
Yeah. Oh, all the time. She's like, I don't know. I don't want to hear this. Go play with your internet friends. I don't care.
All right, we're closing up the show here. Community Corner, ending up the show here. Mornings Alive with Keith and friends, John, CMartyFit, and of course, producer Kristina Flynn. I enjoyed today's chat. I enjoyed.
I can't with this. I can't. Stop trying to be serious.
Tameka was awesome, man. Tameka is a goat for sure. I agree. We want to get Tameka on here. Good times live in the comments and Arm and everybody. And
I can't.
All right, we got the business and branding. So, hey, Kristina, Johnny, I'm hoping that Lauren still loves me. Lauren's going to want to have some sex with me sometime this week with this kind of face.
Well, I guess the question is when she sees that face, she's wondering what the rest of the equipment looks like.
That's definitely 5.7 minutes right there.
Oh man, it's cartoon equipment along the fly here. So there you go. All right, so listen, we're gonna walk up John and Marty. They're on with their day here, and Keith and Kristina are gonna continue with Community Corner. We got somebody to celebrate in the creator spotlight, and then we're gonna head out to do the business and branding segment. And of course, we're back tomorrow, Wednesday, with our friend Rich Ingram, the man who's maybe he walks a couple miles for a living. He just kind of.
I say this with love. I think about him all the time. He's the one-arm wonder, baby.
I agree.
And I say that with nothing but love and respect. I was telling somebody about him, and they were like, and he was like, wow. And I was like, yeah, he's a one-arm wonder. And I was like, damn, that's good.
He's a fucking warrior, man. He's a hero. I talk to Richie. I talk to Richie once, twice a week. The guy does not fail to amaze me. He tells me something. Holy fuck, man! Like, Johnny, you're right, man. The guy. Yeah, I'm gonna go do 100 miles today. Oh yeah. So Marty, I look at John and Richie kind of the same way, right? Like Richie goes and just does 100 miles for nothing. John goes and just benches 700 pounds, and they just all right. You guys go do your thing
for 40 reps.
That wasn't a bench press. Oh,
it wasn't a bench press.
It was a squat. That's it.
All right, you guys get out of here. Tina and Keith got some work to do to wrap the show up here today. We're going to get into We're going to get into the community corner creator spotlight, and then we're going to do our business and branding segment. All right, Tina, let's rock and roll with our community corner segment of the show here. I am looking for our creator spotlight. I don't have one here in the links here, so I'm thinking you're going to throw one up there for us.
Yeah, I can do that.
Well, there we go. I see it. There we go. Boom. Okay. Awesome. All right. Oh, there we go. So I see this. Perfect. I like that. All right. Okay. So today's creator spotlight is somebody who I'm going to throw to Kristina to do the introduction while I get it going up here. So today, Kristina, who are we celebrating and why are we celebrating this person for today's creator spotlight?
So this individual who hails from the UK, they are the founder of AI for Non-Techie. This person provides accessible, jargon-free AI training for beginners and non-technical users. We don't have her up yet. Great. AI consultant and trainer. So she, hint, works with the top companies like Toyota, Salesforce, SEMrush, offering all of those folks AI consulting and team training. She is the top 20 MarTech influencer and AI consultant to the UK government and winner of the AI Trailblazer Award at the 2024 AI Revenue Summit. And 20% of her profits support grassroots initiatives to reduce isolation for older folks. So get that look off your face. Oh my God. Today's creator spotlight, please forgive me, Heather Murray. Oh Lord. Is Heather Murray.
Heather Murray, yes. And Heather, you have the distinct pleasure, if that's the term, you have the distinct pleasure of being introduced by the first cartoon character, Keith Bilous, on Mornings in the Lab, creator spotlight here, Mornings in the Lab here this morning. So we are celebrating Heather here today. She's AI for non-techies and AI for non-animated characters like myself. Birmingham, England. Let's have a look at her profile here, Kristina, as we go through it.
Yeah, I think why we're highlighting Heather, I love Heather. I love everything that she's doing, and I love it for a number of different reasons. First, focused very, very acutely on how do you make AI accessible for non-tech people? And I think this is a really powerful conversation because all of us can benefit from AI, but because it is known to be heavy tech and deep tech, then people shy away from it. Well, she's saying it doesn't matter if you're technical or not. Like, this is a game of tinkering, and she wants to empower people on how to use AI to really support them in their business, help them scale themselves. Even just the way you popped up like that, it's so weird. She's also, her content is really educational. So whether you know AI or not, I consider myself pretty proficient in AI. I still find her content really, really informative with a lot of practical ways to look at AI from an entrepreneur's perspective. If you're a brand builder, if you own an agency, which she's done, she is bringing sort of this 20 years plus of experience of running her own agency and business and building her brand, which hasn't happened overnight. It's been a very long-term game for her. She talks openly about that. She talks about the fact that she's not this overnight sensation. She's been here. And yes, her growth has been sort of exponential in the last year plus, but it wasn't an easy game. And she talks about the difficulties and she talks about the realities of that from an entrepreneurial perspective. And I've just got a lot of respect for the way that she approaches things and the language that she uses to bring people into the benefits of AI.
But Tina, I thought everything was overnight success. You're disappointing me now. You're like,
you know what? I know Pixar character. I know that it's difficult to realize that everything is not an overnight success.
So you mean that she just didn't wake up with 57,000 followers overnight and have all the success in one day? Because I thought that when you get onto LinkedIn and you follow a guru, you can become like a big success person like overnight in one instance. So the fact that you disappointed me with all the hard work and all the expectations that Heather met along the way, Kristina. So what you're telling me is she actually put the hard work in. She set expectations and managed them along the way and kept winning and winning and winning. So what you're also saying is that there's actually no quick fix to winning. She showed up and went to work.
Yeah, she showed up. She went to work. This isn't the product she started with. It's where she's ended up. It's where she's seen herself over time get to, which we've all done. Where you start is not necessarily where you're going to finish. And yes, if a guru is out there claiming overnight, this is what they're going to do for you. I'm going to get you to a 10K month, your first 10K month within 90 days. I've got the proven system to do X, Y, Z. It's bullshit. And if it's not bullshit, then they're doing it in a way that is going to fabricate the results and or gamify things that may not be values aligned to you. And if you keep looking at me with that fucking face, I'm going to lose it because I can't look at you seriously.
Heather Murray, we are celebrating you here today.
Big fan, Heather. Big love.
With the Creator Spotlight Community Corner.
Don't judge me based on my association with Keith, please.
We want you to come on the show and hang out with us. And I will put on Pixar character Keith for that conversation with you because yesterday we had baby Keith, we had older Keith, now we have Pixar character Keith. And we're going to get into the business and branding segment right now, where it's called Business and Branding with Keith Kristina. We like to talk about business. That's my specialty. And branding, that's her specialty. And to do that, to make you guys treat me more seriously, I think I'll probably just have to do this. Oh, there's a little trick for everybody.
Dear God, thank you.
All right, let's talk business and branding for Business Athlete Nation, Kristina Flynn. This segment, we started last week, and it is where we like to share our experience, our expertise. Yesterday, you sat down with me and said, hey, what are some things that you learned on your journey to building your company at ICUC? What are we going to lean in today, Kristina Flynn?
I mean, today I think we're going to lean into this conversation around expectations because I don't think we have it enough in the context of business or building our own brand. So I'll start here, which is the statistic from Inc. magazine. 50% of entrepreneurs say that managing their own expectations is one of their biggest challenges. Mm-hmm. We know that this shows up whether you're building your brand or you're building a business. So when you think about building your business, has this been a reality for you in terms of managing your expectations, both with ICUC, but now with a very different experience of building this business here with Business Athlete Performance Lab? Tell me about that.
I think about it all the time, Kristina. I'm always thinking about, and I always like to use the word of levers, more levers and less levers. And John talked about it earlier, which is don't keep putting everything on I got to do list. Sometimes we got to pull things off the list to meet the expectations. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that is that, okay, I have an expectation for this by a certain date. That always doesn't mean doing more. And I think that's what we often get confused with, Kristina, especially in business, is that we think we often have to do more to meet an expectation, when in my experience, it's often we have to do less, right? So, okay, so what's the goal? What's the expectation? How do we get there? It's not, okay, we got to spend more hours doing this, spend more hours doing that, have more meetings. No, hold on, slow down the horses here. What's the goal? And let's pull back and let's go hit it. So yeah, to answer your question, I think expectations are healthy, but I'm a big believer. And that's why, Kristina, I don't like SMART goals. I think SMART goals are rooted in 1940. We write them down and then they're so rigid. And then when we don't meet the expectations of the SMART goals, what do? We cower, we fail, we don't feel good about ourselves. I like to go, okay, what's the big goal? What's the compass? What's the radar? Let's create two lists, a more list and a less list, and let's pull levers to get there, to manage the expectations, to achieve them. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, no, it totally does. I think one thing that I have had a lot of help from my ADHD business coach on is exactly that. Something that I know a lot of us do, whether you're neurodiverse or not, is you look at all of the potential things that you could be doing. Opportunity is sexy. Opportunity is exciting, but addition by subtraction. So what are you going to take away, and what are the boundaries and the confines within which you're going to operate so that you can manage your time? Because as a business owner and as a brand builder, quite frankly, we can get lost in the forward thinking and then forget entirely about, okay, but what does this look like? And what do I need to ladder up? What are the could do's on my list? And what are the should do's or the must do's on my list? And let's look at the day from that perspective.
When I find that, especially in the public world of business, we're always racing to the next quarter, right? So, I've worked in public business before, and it's frustrating because you're basically living by a quarter and you're living towards the next quarter. So you're essentially managing expectations quarter by quarter by quarter. Often not a lot of fun with that. In my experience, what we often do as business leaders, Kristina, and here's something for your nation, here's a nugget for you. Often what we do, Kristina, is we put more on the list to hit it. It's like, well, I guess I got to add more things to do so I can hit these goals of these expectations of the market, of our leaders, of our team. No, hold on a second. Actually, nothing changed from, that Friday ending of last quarter to Monday starting this quarter. Let's just stay focused. Let's pull some things off the list so we can meet those expectations.
Yeah, and managing the
Yes.
expectations. And in this section right here, we're talking about the expectations that we're putting on ourselves. But if you look at sort of another layer of that, it's the expectation that you have on other people. And I'm often very, very open about this, that a lot of times some of my greatest disappointments in business are that I had high expectations for other people, or I expected people to act the way that I act, to conduct themselves the way that I conduct myself, or to hold the same values that I have. And then when I realized that that wasn't the case, I was pretty crushed, to be honest. I felt like everyone should be operating with this high level of integrity in how they do things. I couldn't even see their side of it, quite frankly. So talk to me a little bit about that reality. Is in business, whether you're building a brand or a business, you are going to face that situation of your expectations will not be met by other people around you.
I love this part of the conversation, Kristina, because I think business, this is where, to me, the business athlete, where business and athletics really come, crossover. So when I was building ICUC, and as I continue to build BAPL, I really believe that we're building a team. We're building a hockey team, a basketball team, a baseball team, right? I do have expectations of you, or of Jon, or of Marty. If I'm going to date myself, if I'm Wayne Gretzky getting on the ice, I'm expecting and hoping you're getting on the ice with me and say, okay, I'm going to elevate my game because I'm playing with the best player in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think it's healthy to have the expectations inside of a company, so that when we all show up, if we're all trying to hit a goal, well, aren't we all trying to hit the goal, not just some of us? So if I'm trusting that you're putting everything into, again, let's go back to athletics. Okay, the season ended yesterday, Kristina. What are you doing in the offseason? I'm fucking sitting back, smoking, eating pizza, and drinking beer. Oh, so you're not getting ready for next season? No, I'm going to wait for a few months. I don't. So to me, I have an expectation that you're putting the time in because we've signed up to achieve a mutual goal together. If you're not putting that time in to achieve that mutual goal, I don't want you on my team. And that goes right back to business. Right. So I think it's healthy to have expectations of your colleagues, or else what are we doing this for?
I think as long as those expectations are realistic. So we talked about this yesterday. You can't expect your employees as a business owner to act and give the same kind of time and attention to your business as you, because they are your employees. What they are building is not theirs. So it's not fair as a business owner to have an expectation that these 18-hour days that I'm pulling, you should be doing as well, because at the end of the day, the cost benefit to them, both them and you, are very, very different.
Yes.
For me too, I think that's been one thing I've had to manage, are those expectations. I also think there's a reality around, like, you got to clearly communicate expectations as well. So if that is your expectation as a business owner, then tell people up front. Don't just tell them what they want to hear, because I've often been in situations like that. And I think how I've learned how to manage my own expectations with other people along the way is, quite frankly, you can't really trust people. You can't. When I was really early in my business journey, I did a lot of things based on potential opportunity for promises and handshake deals. And on numerous occasions, what those taught me was that that doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, what I expect and how I would expect myself to operate in those situations are not how a lot of people would operate themselves. And so I need to protect myself and manage my own expectations and put myself out there in a way that says, this is what my expectations are. And we need to actually put that down. We can't just pretend like a handshake deal is going to be okay.
So I'm going to challenge you a little bit on this. So then I'm wondering if you're surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. So let me give an example. So I don't know Jon Andersen very well, but I'm getting to know him every single day. Right. And within those last 3 or 4 months of getting to know the guy, and even see Marty, a high level of trust has been built amongst myself and Jon and Marty, and even yourself. Right. I have an expectation of Jon, like Jon has an expectation of me. And I'd say that it hasn't been spoken about, but there's this unwritten, even Marty, right? Because we all know what we're doing. We all know we're trying to achieve a goal. And I think that there's a trust and a belief in each other. Look what happened on today's show, because we've put the time into communicating with each other to understand where we're off to. Now, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if John wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid, or Marty wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid, or you weren't even drinking the Kool-Aid, I don't know if we'd all still be here doing this. Right.
You probably wouldn't.
I don't know if so while I hear you, trust is an earned thing. I think if we surround ourselves with the Mark Messier, because I know Mark is as neurotic as I am to go win the Stanley Cup. Okay, good. I know Jon Andersen is neurotic as I am about his habits to get things done. I don't have to worry about him not meeting my expectations. Does that make sense?
I think it totally does. I think it's like everything. Context is everything, right? So when you look at a situation like this, there's a risk appetite, and you can always take risk. A handshake deal is a risk.
Yes, 100%.
Trusting somebody is a risk. So you have to be willing that if all goes to shit, what are you going to be left with? And you have to be able to sit with that. In my youth, as an entrepreneur, I wasn't seeing that risk reward in that way. I was seeing, and I had expectations of myself because, quite frankly, the people I grew up around always operated in 100% integrity at all times. I thought everyone in business operated that way. And so I gave people that flexibility or that permission. And in doing so, I took on risks that I didn't understand. And it really deeply impacted my businesses negatively because I trusted when I shouldn't have trusted.
Well,
and I didn't put things on paper when I should have put things on paper.
Or a demographic situation. I know growing ICUC with Maurice, a couple Midwestern rural Canadian guys, you'd go to New York City or go to these big markets, and we were just the nice, naive Canadian guys, right? Where, we had an expectation. If it wasn't met, it was like, nah, all right, I guess it's how it was. You know what I mean? And it's there's something to be said, and even Adam says it, which is if you're clear from the beginning what your expectations are, then they sign on the dotted line. Then it's easier from then on. Very true. But if you come in with a bunch of naivety and no expectations, you also can be probably taken for granted too. Right.
And that's the unfortunate reality that a lot of people face, that I'm always talking about my own experiences with that, with the hope that somebody learns a lesson much sooner than I did. And the impact to them and to their businesses is less than the one that I had to experience and my team had to experience.
So let me ask you this. Let's wrap the segment up. What would we give somebody tuning in right now? And Adam comments and says, I wouldn't put that down to naivety, rather than learning through doing. I agree with you, Adam. If there's anything I've learned, is just walking towards fire. And when I fall, you learn and you do something again. But Kristina, what would be one thing we would want to leave Business Athlete Nation thinking about as we're wrapping up this segment around expectations in business? What's something you'd give somebody to hang on today as they take away from our segment today?
I think whether you call it expectations or something else, this all comes back down to communication, and it all comes back down to also protecting yourself and your business and those interests and your team at the end of the day. So if you are not clearly communicating what your expectations are as a business owner and whatever business deal that you're doing, you can't expect somebody on the other end of it to follow those expectations. That is unfair. They don't know what your expectations are. So you need to be, one, clear on them yourself, which a lot of us aren't. And a lot of us think we are, but we're not. And then two, you need to be willing and open and vulnerable to have the conversation with whomever you're doing that business deal with to say, these are my expectations of this situation. Are we aligned on that? And if we're not aligned on that, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's a done deal. It doesn't mean that it's dead in the water. It just means let's have the conversation about how to get both meeting in the middle, or, some people don't like meeting in the middle. Wherever you want to meet, let's still push this forward. But let's have that conversation, because oftentimes things get really emotional and we get fiery when somebody is just not meeting an expectation that we've never actually told them we have of them.
Yeah. For me, this just comes down to communication, right? Communicate. I don't think there's much rocket science going on in here. I think it's setting the right tone, having a clear path with the person you're speaking with. And then as my good friend Ray Wright, my good friend Ray White says, inspect what you expect. So if you're asking your kid to clean the room and your expectations are the room's going to be clean, we'll go back and inspect those expectations. And if you can adopt that habit, I think you can Because if I'm coming to you, Kristina, and saying, hey, I have some expectations, it's boom, boom, boom. And then I come back and inspect them. We've set some clear ground here, right? There's no ambiguity. There's no disclarity. There's no gray. It's very much black and white. So if you have an expectation, inspect it and see what goes from there. There's a conversation.
Firm and kind. You can be firm in your expectations, but also kind in how you deliver them.
That's right. And kindness always wins, as in my experience. Always wins, always wins. All right, wrapping it up. Business and branding with Keith and Kristina here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Wrapping up our show, our 2-hour show today. We kicked it off with a little bit of a hiccup. We had a little change of plans. We were supposed to have Adam hosting here today, but Adam had a customer call up and say, hey, I got to meet you sooner. So I said, Adam, go get that customer, man. Go pay those bills. Tameka joined us for an awesome conversation she set up with Center Stage. And then we moved into deep dive around managing expectations and how do we live through the views of others. You know, mom wants you to be a doctor, dad wants you to be a lawyer, and you want to go end up being a fisherman. Well, it's just what life's all about. So, and then we went to CMartyFit tip with Jon and CMartyFit, and we also talked with AJ Zegler on mind fuel and how men can manage the expectations around us. So we're done here today, Kristina. We're back tomorrow on Wednesday with Rich Ingram joining us for some conversations around resilience and so forth. And I think
Ty Hoagson.
Yes, and Ty Hoskin joining us as well. So Ty's an awesome dude. Ty's been on the show before. Ty's a speaker. He's going to help you guys think about speaking. But let's get out of here. We got some work to do. Post-production starts now. And you and I are meeting with Mario Hernandez later today, Brown Noble.
Excited. All right, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to get out of here. Have a good one. Ciao.